Almost forgot the old microphone, didn't I? Good evening, darlings, and a very warm welcome to Wednesday. Oh, I said Thursday then. I've been. What? Do you mind, please? Broadcasting here. Thank you. I've been thinking it's Thursday all day, and it's not, of course, it's Wednesday. So a very warm, wibbly wobbly, willy waving welcome to Wednesday Night Live with me, Boaty, and I'm going to be here with you right through until midnight. Yep. We're going to see out Wednesday together, and we're going to drink in Thursday. You'd better believe we are. Cheers, darlings. Your very good health. Hope you've had a good day, by the way. Tell me all about it. Of course, I want to know what you've been eating. Has anybody had a bacon sandwich? And I have bacon in the fridge. I can't remember when I last had a bacon sandwich. So, feature number one, when did you last have a bacon sandwich? And what what is your bacon sandwich of choice? Is the bread buttered? Do you have anything else in there like mushrooms or and of course what sauce do you put on it? I mean, well, only answer that question if you put brown sauce on it, HP sauce. If you put ketchup on it or mayonnaise or something god awful, don't even answer. Just go and sit on the stairs, give your head a wobble, and have a serious word with yourself. Anyway, who have I got? I have got the M11. Who says first cab off the rank tonight? Beat Jimmy Quinn to it. He's normally right. Actually, where is Jimmy? Oh, Jimmy's right down here. The M11 says Emma Lemon is in the house. Well, not literally. I'm actually sprawled in my bed, awaiting some big boaty action. So if you're literally not in your house, but you are in bed, where exactly do you keep your bed? In the shed? At the bottom of the garden? Is it just, do you sleep on one of those random mattresses that you see in council house gardens? Let us know, M11. Good evening, all, she goes on. And of course, good evening to the tremendous Boaty himself. And a jolly good evening to you, my lovely. Peter P is here and says a very, very nice evening to all. We wish the same to you. Sophie's here, says, hi, everyone. Neil is really flat out and sleeping. He's so tired and worn out. He's on the sofa, kipping for England. He hasn't stopped with work this week. Oh, well. Tell him we all send our love. Now Jimmy Quinn pops up and says, good evening, Boaty and all. Good evening, Jimmy. Andrew, I can't believe it's not Butty Geek, says, good evening, Boaty and all. And a very good evening. Oh, no, why am I reading that twice? What a silly ass. Hello, Boaty, says Sophie. How are you? And hello, everyone. And how's everyone and Boaty's evening? I'm fine. I've had a pleasant enough day, I think. Yeah, pleasant, uneventful. Same goes for this evening. Pleasant, uneventful. Absolutely dead at work. I've been designing a new menu with all of the nonsenses that you have to have on there, giving allergen details on every single dish. Chicken tikka masala contains dairy. And for God's sake, I'm having to say, do things contain sulfites? Well, bloody hell, you can go too far down that road, can't you? I mean, if something has been covered up with cling film in a bowl, do you then have to declare that it contains sulfites because sulfites could have transferred from the cling film? It all gets a little bit daft, doesn't it? Anyway, hey-ho, there we are. Matron is here and says, evening all. Wow, nice flowers, says Peter P. Thank you. Hi again, Matron, says, I can't believe it's not Butty Geek. Lovely flowers, Boaty, says Sophie. New flowers, Boaty. Very nice, says Jimmy Quinn. Yes, I did lash out tonight on some new flowers, which are split between here and over there in the windowsill where you can't see. I've got somebody coming round tomorrow, and I thought it might be nice if the place looked a little bit fresher than having dead flowers around there. Oh, that's nice. Boaty, says Captain Mustard, you Jeffin Turbot pickle. I was just about to message you about the mic there, says Matron. And hi again, Mustard. Yeah, caught it just in the nick of time. If you are here, says Sophie, please make sure you click the like. Oh, you share, like, and comment below. Oh well, that would be jolly decent of you. Oh yeah. Now then, a little bit of a community celebration. Hang on, I've just had a comment come in on YouTube. No, she's not, John Noyle, whoever you are. Somebody's just commented to say that Maggie is the best, and I take issue with that because Pepsi has got much nicer knockers, and these things are important in life. Yeah, she's got her knockers, but where was I? What was I doing? Who am I? Who are you? Oh, yeah, that's right. Bit of a community celebration because the first proper Emma and Boaty's Monday Night Live, so not the one that's just gone, like yesterday or the day before yesterday, but the one the week before, the first one, that has just hit 1,000 views earlier on today. So we're quite chuffed about that, and thank you very much for being some of the 1,000 people that have watched it. So yeah, we're having a little bit of a doings. Hello, hamsters, says Mustard. Yesterday, bacon and eggs left the sandwich, says Mustard. You had bacon and eggs yesterday? Ah, okay. Matron is going for bacon and avocado and tomato with butter and and mayonnaise about 3 weeks ago on white doorstep bread. Peter P has had schnitzel with bayonnaise sauce tonight. Oh, very nice. But what schnitzel is the question. I don't eat bread usually, says Matron. Bread is for ducks, says Captain Mustard, and please pay no attention to him. Bread is not good for ducks. Don't give it to them. I meant I'm not in your house, says M11. Well, yeah, I can pretty much confirm that you're not, unless you're hiding upstairs, which you could be, I suppose. Oh, hello, Neil's awake, says M11. And he is indeed, because Neil, of course, who we know and love as the gibbon hater, he's a man who despises all gibbons, and he did admit last night that were gibbons to roam freely on the roads around Dougalai, he would deliberately aim for them with his monstrous AA truck. And that's fair enough, you know. Perhaps, I mean, it's kind of none of our business, but, you know, perhaps he's got some deep-seated traumatic thing about gibbons which has made him hate them. I don't know, maybe his first babysitter was a gibbon and treated him really badly, you know, nicked half of his Farley's rusks or something like that. There's always a story behind there's always a story behind everything, really, isn't there? And certainly what can seem like an irrational hatred, such as Neil's for the gibbon community of the world, there will be a basis for that. Now, I'm not going to pry. I'm not going to ask him to share what could be a traumatic thing. We just accept Neil for the lovely man that he is. And one of his little quirks is that he hates gibbons. And, you know, gibbons in this country do not roam freely. The chance of him being able to transmit his hatred into some kind of, well, physical injury is pretty unlikely. Although I imagine he's probably banned from most zoos and possibly safari parks also. So if we decide to organise a community trip to Dougalai Zoo, which would be cool because they've got a chairlift and I love chairlift. Feature number 2. What was the last chairlift you went on and what is your favourite chairlift? And I do mean a chairlift. Cable cars don't count. Don't come at me with your cable cars. So I'll tell you to bugger off. Yeah, chairlifts and chairlifts only. The last chairlift I went on was in Matlock, Bath, and it was situated within the grounds of Gulliver's Kingdom. And my favourite chairlift, that is also my favourite chairlift. actually. I love that chairlift. And it's a great sadness to me that I may never go on it again because you're not allowed in there without a child, and I don't seem to have any at the moment. Everybody's saying hello to Neil. That's nice. Oh, and the M11 says, today was not uneventful, Boaty. 1,000 views. Yay, we did it. 1,000 views on a live stream. Not bad. Not too dusty. Certainly, not literally, but figuratively, 1,000,000 times better than I've ever managed on my own. So that just goes to show that if you've got an audience, a YouTube audience, that is predominantly male, it will not do your viewing figures any harm to bring on an attractive female, particularly if said female has a reasonably prominent pair of busty substances. So there we are. Somebody has just done a nice thing. Who's done that? Oh, it's HW100 or HW100 or HW100, who has just become a channel member, a wonderful channel member. So cheers to you, HW100, and cheers to all of you other wonderful channel members who between you support me on a month-by-month basis. I couldn't be more grateful. Honestly, I would like to, well, I mean, if we were all on a beach together, then I would offer you a choice of either buying you an ice cream or nibbling on a buttock of your choice. Yeah, oh yeah, I believe in choice. But just a basic ice cream, not one with flake in it or anything. I mean, they're so bloody expensive now, aren't they? I mean, in my mind, a choc ice is about 10p, isn't it? You know, 2 shillings. Christ almighty, the last time I bought one, which is about 9 years ago, it was, if I remember correctly, now hang on, let me think. You'll think I'm making this up. I'm not. It was genuinely, if memory serves, 33 shillings. 33 shillings for a bloody choc ice. I told the bloody man in the shop, I said, you should be wearing a stripy jumper and a mask, thieving swine. Anyway, where did I get to? Oh, yes, yeah, we were celebrating the old 1,000, weren't we? Those flowers are nice and erect, says the M11. Ah, well, yeah. Jeff the Flower, says Captain Mustard, who's very clearly in an inflammatory mood. Did somebody upset him on his live stream? How was his live stream? Matron's having a laugh at I can't believe it's not Butty Geek. Congrats on the view, says Peter P. Thank you very much. Bad Books is with us and says good evening all. I can't believe it's not Butty Geek says a play on the old ad for I can't believe it's not butter. And actually my nickname at school was Butter. Yeah, 1K views, says Matron. Oh, and then people are saying hello to Gibbons, those furry little Jeffers, says Peter P. John Stoodley is with us. Evening chat, evening Boaty. How am you all tonight, yeah, lovely people? I missed all Funky Gibbons' doings on last night's live, says I can't believe it's not Butty Geek. And hi, John. Hey, John, says the M11, how's your skin tag hanging? Oh, dear. And it's still there, but it's not quite black yet, apparently, is the answer to that. Andrew, says Neil, the Gibbon hater. I'm still here, so you won't miss much. I went on that stair lift with me nan at Dudley Zoo. It's not enjoyable. I've been on that chair lift at Dudley Zoo, and it went out of use for a while. And then it was recommissioned, repainted, and brought back into use. And it was reopened by Keith Harris and Orville, who both took a ride on the chairlift, sitting next to each other, oddly enough. My driver's seat, says Captain Mustard, has an adjustable height thing. Well, that's nice. Which card are we talking about? Mine's an electric stairlift, Mustard says, I can't believe it's not but a gig. Are there any ladies that would like to live stream with me, says Captain Mustard. Well, form an orderly queue, ladies. Evening all, says channel member HW100. I'll give it a go, Mustard, says the M11. Boaty poached Tracy as moderator, so you can poach me as a guest. No, he bloody can't. Kindly remember, you are under contract to Mary Huff Management, and Mary Huff Management does not allow crossing of streams. You've made your bed, now lie in it. Mustard can go elsewhere. I'm not having the magic of Emma and Boaty's Monday Night Live diluted by having you appear on that channel with him farting all over the place and being generally hairy and uncouth. No, I won't stand for it, I tell you. He can go down the Milkston Road and get... I tell you what, more often than not, when we go to the Milkston Road, a scraggy-looking bird who's clearly off her non-existent tits on something or other asks us either for £1 or for a cigarette. Well, the next time that happens, Mustard, say, look, I will give you £3, but you have to do a live stream with me. There you go. And that can be your new co-presenter. Yeah. Good evening, hamsters, and may I introduce my new co-presenter. Here she is. £3 well spent. Oh, good point. I can't believe it's not but a gig. Would Mrs. Mustard be comfortable with that idea, Captain? Ah, well, there you are, you see. Jimmy Quinn says, I have bacon sandwich every day, sometimes with mushroom or egg or sausage, but sometimes all together, and that is called a Whopper sandwich. And the M11 says, yes, go on, Trace, you be Mustard's guest. No, don't any of you ladies go on Mustard's live, because then he'll get more views, and I don't want that. I want to retain my advantage over him. Don't go... I know he's my best friend and all that, but he's also my YouTube enemy. And you can't go sleeping with the enemy. It's not on. I've got you, I'm pretty sure there was a clause in the contract when I signed up to Mary Huff Management that says I have exclusive use over on-screen doings when it comes to Matron and the M11. Bloody outrageous. You've had 18 months to find you. Why don't you do it with Mrs. Mustard? Don't come here nicking my women. You live with the bloody woman. You've got a wife, for God's sake. Do it with her. That's what she's there for. That's what you're supposed to do. She's your wife. You should know that. You've got her saved in your phone as wife because you can't even be asked to remember her name, right? I know you like to keep her locked up in the cupboard under the stairs and she's not allowed to have her own personality. Let her loose on the world. Bring her onto a live stream and say, hey, this is my darling wife. What's your name again, wife? Oh, right. God, is it? Blimey, I'd forgotten that. This is my darling wife, and I treasure her, and I'm proud of her, and I would like to show her off to you. And indeed, I have spent the last 2 days cleaning her up and making sure that she's looking her absolute best for you people. And you could do videos about that on Project Nigel, couldn't you? Hello. Today, I'm doing a live stream on Saturday with Mrs. Mustard. So today, I'm going to give her a jolly good valet. I'm going to give her a good corrective polish. I'm going to apply ceramics to her, and I'm going to make her all shiny and lovely. First of all, we'll get hose pipe out. Right, you stand over there, Mrs. Mustard, or wife, as I like to call you. Don't worry, I'll find out what your name is when we actually do live stream on the Saturday. All right, and that would be brilliant. You'd get really good content out of that. So yeah, don't go around nicking other people's women. Use your own. Bloody hell. Outrageous behaviour. I would actually watch that video of you valeting Mrs. Mustard ready for the live stream. Now then, welcome to video 2. And as you can see, in video 1, I got the wife looking quite good, really. It's quite an improvement, isn't it? But in this video, I'm going to go a little bit further. I'm going to rub her down with some wet and dry, and then I'm going to really polish her up with some finishing compound and really get her sparkling in the sunlight and get her beading beautifully. So if I have to send her out for some milk and it's raining, then the rain will just run off her and she'll look absolutely lovely. And what I'm going to do to a bit of brand awareness and to make her look especially good, I'm going to make her wear all mismatching clothes. So I'm going to knit her a jumper that's one colour on this side and one colour on this side. And then I'm going to give her some nice tracky bottoms, just like mine. But I'm going to get 2 separate ones, sew them together, and then she's going to be 4 different colours like. Oh, it's going to be great. And I'm going to get some chrome coverings for her ears. Oh dear. Fuck you and everything you stand for, says Captain Mustard. I would if he wanted me, says Matron. No. Boaty, says Bad Books. Why don't you get a Stanner stair lift? Oddly enough, Bad Books, when I moved in here, there was one. And I did think about leaving it. And now I kind of wish I had. Lol, says Matron. That's you told Emma. Purple Hat Games is here and says hello. And that's Simone, of course. Yeah, up against the lamppost, Mustard. You know it. What the dickens did I miss from last night's stream to have my moniker played with? Ask I can't believe it's not Buddy Gig. I would rather live stream with you than her, says Captain Mustard. Spoken like a true friend. Mustard, says the Gibbon hater. I'll slap a wig on and wear a low-cut top if you want, if he's being selfish. And Mustard says, without me, you'd be nothing. Nothing. Remember that, Bertie. Oh, dear. It's kind of true. That first day that I met Mustard, I had 12 subscribers. Literally 12 subscribers. And Mustard felt so sorry for me, he subscribed there and then and became number 13. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I had fish and chips for supper, says HW100, and they charged me 11 quid. Daylight robbery, and I'm not even able to report it as a crime. And it was crap. Oh, that really is the... Oh, dear. Get Simone, Paul, says Jibby Quinn. She will get a lot of viewers. We definitely need a Mustard and Boaty co-live. We've been calling for this forever. Yeah. Well, we have done one. We did one together here. A long time ago now. Mustard, bless him, drove all the way here one Monday night, and we did one together, and then he had to drive all the way home. And he got lost, if I remember. But yeah, a Mustard and Boaty live. A Mustard and Boaty late night, both a little bit drunken live. That would be good fun. In fact, I'd love to do that. We should do that. We should do that, Mustard. We have talked about it before, but in all seriousness, the issue is that obviously, because of my work, I live stream quite late, and Mustard's got a wife and young children. So, in all seriousness, being that rambunctious at this time of night wouldn't work very well for him. But we've done a fair few from the caravan, haven't we? Sherry's here. Got to be me. Just saying a breathless hello to all because I can't even talk from the heat that I'm trapped in. Absolutely. Sorry to hear that, Sherry. If Mustard gets a co-presenter and views shoot up, says Andrew, you're going to have to lift your game. Maybe expose more flesh for those so inclined. And Matron says, and Boaty needs to be on one of my lives. And Mustard is, of course, also welcome. My ears are burning, says Simone. Assume the position, says Peter P. I'll bring my wash bucket. Jeffrin, brilliant, you twat, says Captain Mustard. And Simone says, Boaty, that accent is shit. Please stop. I thought it was a great impression of Captain Mustard, says Matron. He does sound exactly like Alan Bennett. Boaty's Mustard impression, says Bad Book, sounds more like a gay Wally Batty. Jimmy Quinn says, Boaty sounds like someone from Broadmoor. And HW100 says, agrees and says, yeah, use your own woman, don't nick his. You've done a live. I saw it, says Jimmy Quinn. Yeah, we did. I won't get a lot of viewers, says Simone. I still haven't cracked 2K. Yeah, well, you would if you were a bit more. I mean, you'd do it easily if you really whacked yourself out there. But, I mean, you know how well you go down if, you know what I mean. I mean, if you did what I did, I mean, you're a better presenter than me, Simone. So if you did what I did and just shoved a load of stuff out there on a daily basis, you'd whiz past 2K in no time. But perhaps quite rightly, you decide that quality is more important than quantity, which is not something that I could do. I didn't have the option of quality. Quantity was all that I had. So I thought, well, if I've said it a million times, throw enough mud at the wall and some will stick. And it's kind of worked. Sherry says, cut myself off, going to finish saving, absolutely getting out for the first part of my permanent departure. This is insanity and a nightmare beyond words. Sorry to talk this way. And does anybody drink ginger beer? I like a ginger beer. I do like it. You have to be a little bit careful with that, Sherry, because I don't know if you're familiar with something called Cockney rhyming slang that we have here in the UK. It's a London thing, really, but it has kind of permeated into the wider language. And you have to be careful saying that you like ginger beer or that you like a ginger, because in Cockney rhyming slang, ginger or ginger beer is a word meaning homosexual, because it's Cockney rhyming slang, ginger beer, queer. And I can tell you lots of other Cockney rhyming slang things as well, if you're interested. Stone me. I've just run down the apples and pears to answer the dog and bone. Captain Mustard says, I am sure my impression of you is better than yours of me. Who's with me? Well, your impression of me is amusing, but it sounds nothing like me. You use a really high-pitched camp voice, whereas I've got quite a deep, dark brown, Barry White type cultured voice. I don't say clack instead of clock. It's amusing, but it's nothing like my voice. Whereas my impression of you might not be as amusing, but it is a very accurate representation of the way that you actually speak. And I'm pretty sure that everybody will back me up on that because they've all seen your videos. Let's have a look. Oh, well, Matron is first in. I have to agree. Boaty's impression of Mustard is absolutely perfect. If I closed my eyes, I wouldn't know that it wasn't him. Oh, well, there you are. The pair of you have to do a sleepover live stream from the caravan of muffled screams, says Andrew. Yeah, well, it's on the cards. It is on the cards. I drove over in Gladys, says Captain Mustard, the car with the most useless headlamps ever. Oh, God, when you came here to do the live, which one was Gladys? Gladys. Oh, Gladys was the... Gladys was a 416 or 216. God, I'm trying to remember. Gladys. It was one of the first cars we bought, wasn't it? A green one with the nice interior, a bit like Toby Charles. That whatever they called it, Monaco interior or whatever it was. Gladys. I've got a vague memory of Gladys. And I tell you what, driving to me is not good in a car with lousy headlights. God knows, I know I've done it enough times coming home on a Monday night. The Rover 75 was the worst. The MGTF was just as bad. I know you did a live, says Matron, but you've been talking about co-lives with split screen for ages, but didn't know how to do it. Now you've cracked it. Yeah, it's too late for Mustard though. He can't disturb his home and his girls with that kind of activity this time on the night. We could do something like a Sunday lunch live where we both cook our Sunday lunch live, or a Saturday brunch live, and we both actually that'd be quite good fun. Mustard, do you fancy that? Do you fancy doing a joint live at lunchtime, and we'll both cook our lunch? I suppose you'll be at the yard though, won't you? No, yeah, so that won't work either. See, gets very awkward. I agree, Andrew says Paddy Scrotter, a sleepover in Roger Boaty. Soph says that I didn't know that, Bertie. Boaty, you learn something new every day. I don't know what it is that you didn't know, but there we are. To be honest, says John Stoodley, I do struggle with making a video. With me, it's about getting the right subject to do one, and I get nervous doing them. Well, yeah. I never have I seldom have a subject for a video. Take a leaf out of Captain Mustard's book. He never has a subject for a video. He just opens his mouth, sees if something comes out, edits it to make it vaguely interesting, puts it out there as a video, and amazingly, thousands of people watch them. God knows why. I mean, they're bloody awful. I mean, it's not like he plans anything or has a subject or anything like that, is it? Hello, and welcome to Workshop. It's me, Captain Mustard, and today I'm going to show you how to make the perfect cup of tea. Oh, look, I've got a spoon with a crazy bend in it, and I keep it in a vase, and that's quite amusing and quirky, isn't it? And I'm quite amusing and quirky, and I demonstrate that by the way I make my tea in a great big dirty mug, and that shows that I'm a proper man, because I don't like football and I'm not scared of drinking my tea out of a right dirty mug, and I don't worry about catching some nasty disease or anything like that. I just worry about getting videos out there because, quite honestly, it's my creative outlet. It's the way that I express the poetry and the creative content that's within my mind, and I like to share it with you through the medium of like a quite bad cup of tea, quite honestly. And I also like to lose things for your amusement. And I find it works quite well. So have a go at that, John. Have a go at that. And just grow your hair a bit. Well, grow your nostril hair quite excessively if you possibly can. And make sure that your penis is clearly evident at all times. And in no time, you'll have 6,000 subscribers. Oh, that went down the wrong hole. Oh, dear. In no time at all, you'll have 6,000 subscribers, a loyal fan base, and you will be earning £1,800 from YouTube every month on the 23rd. So there you go. That's my advice to you. Got the time, me old cock. Yeah. Oh, what a night. The caravan of muffled screams and loud farts. No, it isn't, you big confusing turkey. I've got no idea what that's in relation to from mustard there. I've got a really busy week, says Sophie. Sorry, I'm having a really busy week. I've been up every day at 7 o'clock to go to my course. God, that sounds awful. Your deep voice is bollocks, says Mustard. You use a voice modulator to sound less gay. I love that idea. Oh, God, I love that idea. The problem is, I mean, it's a form of bullying. Because I get in a car with him, he turns the camera on and he'll say, oh, there seems to be a problem with the clack. Then I start thinking, maybe I do talk like that. And I start thinking, well, maybe I should. And it's a dreadful form of bullying, really. And if in a year's time, I end up where I am talking like that all the time, all up there like that, and I'm saying clack and cack and whack, and then report him to some authorities or other. It's outrageous, really. And the bullying started literally at moment one. I'm quite frequently asked how Mustard and I met in the first place. And the truth is, I mean, I make up stories about it. But the truth is, I rocked up to the yard, and this is the truth. I rocked up to the yard, and this is actually what happened. Within 2 sentences, he'd insulted me. Never met me before. Within 2 sentences, he'd insulted me. And he then carried on insulting me for about an hour. And at that point, I thought, Jesus Christ, I can't take any more of this. And I kind of tried to make my excuse. And I said, well, yep, I'd better be off, leave you to it. And he said, no, you don't need to go. It's absolutely fine. And then he insulted me for another 3 hours and told me I had to come back the next week to take the next dose of my medicine. And it's been bloody non-stop since then. Honestly, there should be a support group for... And it's not even like I ever get my own back. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Oh, God. Thanks for the tip on the ginger beer, says Sherry. How interesting and weird. I have 4 bottles of Australian and 6 cans of the English brand, maybe. Not sure. Can't even kill them because everything is broken. Ginger beer is nice. Good luck on your course, Sophie, says Andrew. If I get a new car, says Simone, I've already decided on a name, Nurse Gladys Emmanuel. And that is a brilliant name. I would fully support that. If you ever got a Morris Minor, anybody who gets a Morris Minor should definitely call it Nurse Morris Emmanuel. Although, no, not a Morris Minor. It was a Morris 1000, wasn't it, that she drove in open all hours. Nurse Gladys Emmanuel. Linda Barron, I think, was the actress. Now, I mean, I think they did another version of Open All Hours, didn't they? After Ronnie Barker decided to spend some time being dead for tax reasons, where David Jason was in there. But the perfect replacement for Ronnie Barker would have been Mustard. I mean, seriously, you can see Mustard in some dingy, terrible shop, can't you? Coming up with desperate plots to part customers with their money. They should have set the new series of Open All Hours at the Yard, because God knows he's there every day from sunlight, from sunrise until after dark. And that would have worked really well. You just needed some comely, wet, and no, I can't say what I was just about to say. But you can imagine Mustard obsessing over some buxom community nurse figure. Right then. Tonight's the night that I'm finally getting Nurse Gladys in my... You can see him doing it, rubbing his hands like that when he's just managed to sell somebody a Rover 214 window regulator who only came in for a sun visor. And then he'd do his bit at the end of the day. Standing out, I mean, he pretty much does it. His channel is basically based on Open All Hours. And you'll see, you watch his videos, and at the end of the video, he does the Open All Hours ending bit. Well, it's been a funny sort of day. I mean, I didn't quite manage to get round to fixing Fred the shed, but I did get a glimpse of Nurse Gladys Emanuel's knickers when I made her bend over to check her spark plugs. Oh dear. Oh, that's right. Gladys had the red carpet and the nice seats. I remember now. The more you do it, the easier it gets, John Stoodley, says Matron, who, by her own admission, has done it a hell of a lot. And yeah, I'm sure it does get easier, Matron. I mean, I imagine you don't find it difficult in the least, eh? Certainly not if the stories that you tell are anything to go by. Oh, about the ginger beer, Sophie. Yeah, ginger beer queer. That's Cockney rhyming slang. HW100 says, Mustard, is Boaty gay? And Mustard says, HW100, yes, he is. I thought so, said HW100. Oh, dear. I make videos, says the M11, upload them, hate them, and then remove them. Right, yeah. Well, I've noticed that, actually, because I saw at least one of the ones that you uploaded and then hated and then deleted. I differ from you. I make videos, I upload them, I hate them. I'm so sorry. And then I think, bollocks, I'll just leave them out there. Somebody will watch a bloody thing they're bound to. Yes, let's have a Barbie, says Mustard. Oh, Mustard's on the dollies again. Holy crap, says Simone. Boaty replaced the flowers. I did. I did. £2.39 from one of those discount German supermarkets. Boaty sounds like George Formby, says Jimmy Quinn. Peter P says John Stoodley. I really enjoyed the Hales Owen walk video. There you go. You see. The Mustard impression is more like Thora Heard now, because that's how he speaks. That's why. So Mustard is Cockney. No, Sherry, no. Mustard is Northern, and he speaks like a stereotypical Northerner. All Northerners speak as if they're having their leg humped by an over-amorous whippet. And that's exactly how Mustard speaks. Basically, if you don't know what a whippet is, it's it's a very fast-running, very thin dog, favoured by Northerners. And the reason they evolved to become very fast-running and very thin is because Northerners are greedy, so they eat the food that they should give to their dogs. So the dogs are always starving, which is why they're really thin. And they learn to run very fast because Northern men are not discriminating when it comes to sexual partners. And when they've had 4 or 5 pints of Theakston's Old Peculiar, the dogs know that they'd better be ready to make a run for it because, as I say, they're not discriminatory at all. As Mustard said to me when he was discussing the possibility of introducing the pottering harness, any hole is a goal. And there you are. That's Northerners for you. But you've got to love them, haven't you? I mean, the one thing that I will say for Northerners is they're very loyal. They are definitely very loyal. Uncouth, yes. Visually somewhat compromised, undoubtedly. Excessive nasal hair, yes. Overdeveloped sexual organs, undoubtedly. But they are very, very loyal. It's like, and you can't really take offense at them or object to them in any way. In the same way that, I mean, imagine if you've got some great fat slobbering brown Labrador that's no use for anything at all and eats more than they deserve to, but they love you and they're loyal. And so when they lick your face or shit on the carpet, then you don't mind, and you just accept it, and you love them the way that they love you. And that pretty much sums up my relationship with Mustard. Mustard is to me as a chocolate Labrador would be to Jeremy Clarkson. They might shit on the floor and eat him out of house and home, but they're adorable. And yeah, there's got to be a video title in there somewhere. Captain Mustard is as adorable as an incontinent chocolate Labrador. I might go with that if I can remember it. Oh dear. That's more like it, Bertie. Just needs a ukulele. Probably plastic flowers. They're not, they're real. And the slipping clutch. Oh yeah, I forgot about the slipping clutch. And Jimmy F500 says, you looked like a caged gorilla in the back of Nigel on the video with Steve Berry. Oh dear. The reset of Open All Hours was not very good. I never watched it. I just assumed it wouldn't be. I miss getting my hands dirty and hands-on work on a car, says Sophie. I told the lady on my course today as she thought I was a girly girl. I said, no, I love to work on cars and get my hands dirty. And she was shocked. Ah, well, you do, Boaty, in terms of getting your own back, says Andrew. You always seem to end up taking the slightly wonky members of the fleet to the Yard of Dreams for Mustard's annoyance. Yeah, well, that is true. That is true. Ta-ta for now, early night, says Simone. God, it's not that early, but good night, my lovely. Have a good one. Open All Hours, the ginger cake episode, and Mustard saying, look, it's worked for me. Yeah. Oh, she said that it's a man's job to work on cars and get dirty hands, says Sophie. I said, well, I'm sure a young girl can get her hands dirty too. And you do indeed. And Matron says, I'd be complaining about the sexist attitude, Sophie. Yes, Barry, that's the stream title, isn't it, says the M11. Open All Hours with a ginger beer. Oh, I might have missed the original comment on that one. Yeah. Oh, well, these things happen. I deleted the video because the sound quality was rubbish, says the M11. So I've bought a mic now. There you go. Nothing wrong with ladies getting onto working on cars, says Andrew. That lady on your course sounds sexist. I'm going to make the video you're talking about, says Captain Mustard. Oh dear. Wasn't there a Harry Enfield sketch about having a pet northerner, says Buddy Scrotter? Yeah, there were a series of them. And it was on the series called Harry and Paul. And it was those northerner sketches that ended up getting the series decommissioned because it attracted so much criticism from what I believe are termed the woke people that the BBC decommissioned the series, and it was absolutely genius. It really was absolute genius. Harry and Paul that was inspired comedy. It was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, it was just too much. But yeah, they did a series of sketches about the pet northerners. Oh dear. When the puttering harness comes out, watch the whippets run, says Andrew. Exactly. I'm half northern, says Matron, and you really are describing my dad and cousins to a T there. Oh, and Peter P picked up on it. Boaty has been watching Harry and Paul. Oh, Samrat is here. My lovely Samrat, my colleague, my boss, my dear chap who gives me shit if I don't read out his comments without 5 minutes of him posting them. He really doesn't know how we work here. And he says, nice flowers. Where can I get those? Well, you know damn well you were there when I bought them, dear boy. Thank you for joining and namaskar. Without me, says Mustard, your material wouldn't exist. Well, it depends if you're talking about my videos or my trousers. My trousers would exist. My videos probably wouldn't. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing you, Boaty, says Sophie. Oh, that's very sweet. Yeah, for those who aren't aware, next Monday, you are going to be blessed with the joy of having some extra guest hosts on Emma and Boaty's Monday Night Live, because Neil and Sophie will be guest hosting while I'm off having a cigarette. So that'll be a treat for you to look forward to. And I'm looking forward to seeing you too, Soph. Oh, and it's really nice that we're staying with you. It's going to be fun. Oh, it jolly well should be. Oh, and Peter P says, Sophie, can you check if those flowers are real, please? They are real. Oh, God, that was fun. I've enjoyed tonight. It's flown by. I can't believe it's almost gone. What else is there to tell you? What else? Thank you again for your help in getting our first Emma and Boaty's Monday Night Live to 1,000 viewers. We're quite chuffed about that. I'm really quite chuffed with the way that the first Steve Berry video is being viewed. I mean, it's only a teaser, really. I didn't expect much from it, but it's doing okay. And as a result of that, because I was going to post the next teaser video today, and I decided that I'll give them 48 hours. So tomorrow, you will get the drive back from Istanbul to the yard as another little teaser, with a little throw forward to some of the more controversial snippets from the actual lunch video. And there is a little bit of controversy in there and a little bit of behind the scenes Top Gear stuff. So well worth watching. And then I've decided that the actual lunch video will go out on Saturday night in the 1919 slot. And I think, talking about Saturday night, I think that there is not going to be a Saturday night live. because it's the big fight on Saturday night, and I'm so excited about it. I've been looking forward to this for 3 years, and the only way I would do a live on Saturday night would be to stream the radio coverage, because then there will be no copyright. It'll be covered on the ring walk is supposed to start at around 11. It obviously depends how the undercard goes, and I would be supposed to start at 11:30. So the only way I'd consider doing a live on Saturday night would be if I live streamed the Radio 5 coverage of the fight and did a sort of listen along and talk along with you guys. I'd be very happy to do that, but I don't know how many, if any of you, are as passionate about boxing as I am. There's no way that I'm going to do a live and not listen live to the fight. I'm not going to watch it live because it's 27 quid and I can't afford that. But I'm assuming that there's going to be Radio 5 live footage with Bunsey, Steve Bunce. I'm assuming there is. If there isn't, then I will do a live. But I'm assuming that there will be. So there probably won't be a Saturday Night Live unless I do a live stream, streaming the radio footage, and we all listen along together and chat about it. But as I say, I don't know how many of you have got my level of passion about boxing. So there you go. That's that. I've packed my lock for the door, says Neil. You won't need it. Bloody hell. I'll be comatose, mate. By the time we stagger upstairs, you're safe as houses. I mean, as you will see, I mean, I know you've not stayed here tonight. We've been in hotels. But honestly, when I stagger upstairs to bed, then I fall into bed and I'm asleep within 10 seconds. You honestly don't need a lock for your door. And it's daft when you consider the Paul Whitehouse is a northerner, says Captain Mustard. Yeah, but some of it, you can see why it went. I mean, when they were trying to mate, the two of the posh southerners were trying to mate their northerners. And so they've got, I remember this as if it was yesterday. They've got Paul Whitehouse as Addie Enfield's northerner. And then they've got this other northern woman that they're trying to mate, and they're trying to mate them to create more northerners. They're trying to breed northerners. And the Paul Whitehouse northerner character is just running around like a daft Labrador, not knowing what the hell to do. And Harry Enfield, and I remember this, I haven't seen this for 20 years since it was current, but I remember Harry Enfield instructing the female northerner to present her rear. And you can kind of see that, as incredibly funny as that is, you can see that was the sort of thing that when the woke community was beginning to become a thing, would just be considered to be by Auntie Beeb beyond the pale. You know, the idea of a northern woman presenting her rear to try and suggest to the daft northern male where he ought to be concentrating his attention. But it's a shame. I occasionally come across Harry and Paul when I'm browsing around on YouTube. And a lot of it really was genius. You know, the vice versa construction workers who were incredibly cultured. That was funny. The ongoing thing with the shy guy and the Swedish or whatever, or Ukrainian or whatever they were, coffee shop girls, that was really funny. And the denouement on that was absolutely hilarious. When he finally, after all of these episodes, And he finally worked up the courage to ask the shop girl out after he'd been going in there every day for his coffee, desperately fancying her and desperately trying to get her. And he finally worked up the courage to ask her out, and she agreed, and everything's wonderful. But then the unexpected denouement to that was that just as they're agreeing the details of the first date and all of his dreams have come true, her sister comes out of the back and he just looks at her and his eyes light up and, oh dear. A lot of that Harry and Paul stuff was so good. I will be streaming on Twitch on Saturday, says Matron. Oh, good, says the M11. I can get an early night on Saturday then. I'm just thinking of ideas for my next video, says John, but I'm sure I will take my time and I'll get it right. I won't be able to watch it if it's got to be paid for, says Sophie. My Saturday start time will depend if Mustard does one before me, and if you, Boaty, end up doing one after. Don't worry about that. Just do it whenever the hell you want to do it. Don't worry about that. Fury has won that fight, says Neil. He's in better physical shape than he's ever been in and got more reach than Usyk. And he's Usyk is done before he gets in the ring. I would be up for a boxing live. Okay, Neil. How do you fancy a little wager, Neil? Because Usyk is going to take Tyson Fury down. Oh yeah, you heard it here first. I've been a little bit on the fence, and I've thought that it could be a 50-50 fight, and I've listened to all of the arguments. If I had to bet my heart, my soul, or my house, I am betting on Usyk. Fury has lost a lot of weight. He's lost a lot of weight, and he is in really good shape. And from what I've heard, from the whispers I've heard from those on the in, Fury is going to come in at his lightest ever fighting weight. Now, you might think, brilliant. He's going in there with somebody who's fast, and he's going to be at his lightest ever. He's got great feet. He's got great footwork. He's got a great boxing brain. But Fury was as fat as a pig for the Ngannou fight. And he's been ballooning up and going down. And what we do know is that when you go balloon up and then lose the weight like that, it saps your strength. Muhammad Ali showed that when he fought, which was the fight where, Holmes. It was Holmes, wasn't it? When he fought Larry Holmes, and he had to get the weight off. And I reckon that weight loss from Fury is going to totally sap his stamina. And we know that Usyk comes into his own in the championship rounds. And I reckon that Fury is going to gas out. The first 6 rounds, I can see them being a chess match with them sounding each other out. I can't imagine that Fury is going to try and do what he did in Wilder 2 and try and impose himself on Usyk. I just can't see that happening. I think Fury's going to have to pace himself. I think the first 2 rounds, there's going to be barely a shot thrown as the two try to figure each other out. I think the next 4 rounds through to round 6, Fury's going to up his work rate. But after round 6, then that's when Usyk comes alive. And Usyk has got amazing conditioning. And the thing with Usyk is he lives the life of a professional athlete 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Fury doesn't. And Fury's got away with it because of the people that he's fought. And I reckon he's going to get found out on Saturday night. I reckon he's going to get found out. I think that, I know he's younger than Usyk, but he's still 35 and he's had a completely different lifestyle to Usyk. And I reckon that Johnny Nelson has got it right. I reckon Fury's legs have gone. And I think he's going to get found out on Saturday night. I think that Fury is going to end up trying to fight very dirty. I think he's going to fight on the inside. I think he's going to use his elbows. I think he's going to end up trying to do everything that he can do to get the fight won, as he's done with other fighters when he's been out of condition or whatever. And I don't think he's going to get away with it with Usyk. And my prediction, my prediction will be, okay, here it is. Hold me out on this. My prediction is a controversial points win for Usyk. And I say it will be controversial because my prediction is that Fury will get points taken for illegal blows, rabbit punches, and for holding. And yeah, that's a prediction. Or there's a big part of me that thinks that the judging is going to be corrupt and it's going to end up as being a draw. God knows that's happened before with massive fights. Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield won. Anybody? A fight that a blind idiot could see that Lennox Lewis won, and it was a draw, so that there was a more lucrative rematch. And I know that there have been a lot of whispers when the referee was announced. I know that there have been a lot of whispers about the draw being the likely result. And I know that the odds have shortened on the draw. They were 16-1. The last I saw, they were down to 12-1. But there we are. There we are. It's still going to be. Oh, Mr. Stephen Paddy from Port Sunlight in the Whittle, the Leisure Peninsula, has slipped in just before the death. How's your day been, Mr. Jason? Have you also been to the local graveyard for those flowers today? And we all look forward to your live this Monday. Roll on, guys. Sky box office, says Jimmy Quinn. Fury fighting at Saturday 4 p.m. No, Jimmy. Fury is fighting. The ring walk is supposed to be Saturday, 11 o'clock BST. It's a massive undercard, and the undercard will be starting at 4 p.m. Not Fury. Right, time to say good night, isn't it? Time to say good night, my lovelies. Fighting is for children with issues, says Captain Mustard. Well, that's something that we could debate. Maybe we'll debate that tomorrow night. Is fighting for children with issues? So is boxing, in these enlightened times, should boxing no longer be acceptable? That'd be quite interesting. We'll do that tomorrow. I love boxing. I boxed. I'm passionate about boxing, and I'll have an opinion on that tomorrow when we discuss it. Oh, excuse me. Next time I'm at the yard, Mustard, says John Studley, me and you can have an arm wrestle, mate. See if I've lost my power from years ago. Why don't you do little vids on bits of history in your area? Do a little research and then go and film and talk about it a bit. And that's directed towards John, who says, okay, Trace, I'll take your advice. I've summoned up some more breath, says the lovely Sherry, who we all adore, don't we? Paul Whitehouse's mother was Welsh, says Buddy Scrotter. Woke will kill the human race, says Captain Mustard. Witness to everyone, says Neil. I wager you a solid £10 note that Fury will dominate him. That is a virtual handshake, Neil. I take that bet. The fight is $24.99 on Sky, says Jimmy Quinn, starts at 4 p.m. I don't entirely agree, Mustard, says Matron. There's a massive pushback at the moment towards woke and such like. Hey all, boxers like to get smashed in the ring, says Ross. Well, they like to do the smashing, ideally. Massive difference in boxers, says Neil. Fury has too much reach on him, so it will be a good fight, but the bet still stands. Yeah, AJ had all of that reach. Didn't do him any good, did it? Fury hasn't got that much reach over AJ. Don't forget he lies about his height. Usyk is a once in a generation freak of nature, like Joe Frazier was. And Usyk is there to upset every apple cart because the universe will give it to him because he has earned it with his attitude, with the man that he is, with the human being that he is. The universe owes it to him. And Joe Frazier was exactly the same. Joe Frazier, who is one of my heroes, he was a righteous, good man. Muhammad Ali was a loudmouth, sociopathic braggart, and Joe Frazier humbled him. And that was the universe doing that. It's the same thing with Usyk. Fury, as entertaining as he is and as nice a chap as I'm sure he can be, I've never met him. You know, he is a man who, well, whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to say. He's a drug user. He's a drug cheat in his sport. He's a loudmouth. He says bad things about people. Whereas Usyk is a dedicated athlete, a humble man, a God-fearing man. He's never said a bad word about anybody. He's a beautiful family man. And he's a man who, when his country called, dropped everything and went to fight. Do you think Tyson Fury would have fought for his country? Do you think he would have put uniform on and gone to the front line when he was as fat as a pig and too busy shoving cocaine up his hooter? Not a chance. The universe will make sure that Usyk comes out of this. I'm sure of it. Single-sex toilets are coming back, says Matron. Women's spaces are coming back. Appropriate language for medical things like breastfeeding, not chest feeding, example. God, is that a thing? I had no idea about that. What? Says Thomas Vickers. Of course boxing is acceptable for all. Tracy, do you mean people disagree with woke or we dinosaurs are still missing something? Disagreeing with woke, says Matron. People are pushing back against it and us dinosaurs were right in the first place, it seems. I don't like toilets used for single sex, says Ross. Dear. Furious driving is fighting, says Jimmy F500. Dear. I love a good fight, says Jimmy Quinn. Oh, and if Fury actually trains this time, he's trained, Thomas. He's in great shape, but at what cost? When it comes to the championship rounds, Fury's never been in with somebody like Usyk. And you've all seen Usyk. When it comes to the championship rounds, that's when he really, really turns the overdrive on. And I'm not sure that Fury can cope with that. The M11 says, mustard reminds me of Dougal off Magic Roundabout. Magic Roundabout. Da, 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 da. Bring back Frank Bruno. Know what I mean? Oh, big Frank. I mean, he was lovely, but my God, he was no boxer, was he? He was no boxer. Okay, he could whack, but he was like he was a bit of an automaton. And once somebody slapped a proper good shot on his whiskers, then he went to pieces. He had, bless him, lovely guy, but zero boxing ability, zero boxing skill. As soon as he got clipped, that was absolutely it. He was just like a baby in the ring. He was just there to be punched about. He didn't know how to cover up. He didn't know how to clinch. He had no footwork. Yeah, I mean, bless him. I mean, I'm glad he got a world championship, but he got that through determination and grit and effort, but it was all he deserved, to be honest. He was never, ever top level. Muhammad Ali was just an entertainer, not a bad person, says Thomas Vickers. A lot of people would disagree with you with that. When you belittle somebody and when you insult them in the worst way imaginable by calling... Right, Thomas, I don't know you. I'm guessing that you're white. I'm not. I'm of Afro-Caribbean heritage. And let me tell you that if somebody who should be your brother calls you an Uncle Tom and a gorilla, then that's not entertainment. It might be passed off as entertainment, but it's not entertainment. It's the worst of the worst, and it's the lowest of the low. And Joe Frazier hated Ali until the day that he died, and quite rightly, in my opinion, quite rightly. And I'll give you two of the best Joe Frazier quotes, and the reasons why I love the man, he's passed now, because he was real. And when Muhammad Ali lit the flame at the Olympics at Atlanta in '96, I think it was, Joe Frazier, who was watching, said somebody should push him into the flame. And his daughter said, "You don't mean that, Dad." He said, "I really do." And the other thing is that the other quote, when Ali's Parkinson's became really advanced, then whenever he saw him on the television, Joe Frazier would say, "Look at that. I did that to him." And he was on record as saying that that was Ali's punishment for everything that he did and everything that he said. And I kind of believe that was true. And even on the day that he died, if you rang Joe Frazier's mobile and got his voicemail was a reference to what he did to Muhammad Ali. And bear in mind that they were friends. When Ali was not allowed to box, then the only reason that he survived when his income was taken away from him was because Joe Frazier, who had become the champion, gave him money, supported him throughout all that time. And as soon as Ali had the chance to fight again, he totally turned on him. I mean, this isn't very well known, but Muhammad Ali pulled a gun on Joe Frazier and his family. Don't tell me that's entertainment. There were no cameras about. That was just Ali being a narcissistic twat, quite honestly. Anyway. Fred Bruner had a glass chin, but a lovely man. Yeah, I agree with that. Neil says, you can't compare AJ to Fury. Joshua is an overgrown baby when he throws his belt out of the ring. Oh, dear. Yeah, that was. dreadfully ill taste, but I understood it. Don't get me wrong, Fury is no angel, but when it comes to boxing, he's good. Yeah, he is, but Usyk is better. We'll see. It's going to be an amazing night. Good night, chat. Good night, Boaty, says John. Good night, John, you beautiful man, says Thomas. Good night, John, says Matron. The won't go broke. That has happened to a lot of companies here. Yay, says Sherry. Night, night, John, says Andrew. His dad is the issue, says Neil. Yeah, well, of course. Big John Fury, who in a boxing ring had his arse handed to him by Henry Ekin one day. He was absolutely battered in the ring, was Big John Fury. And of course, he's just kind of put a downer on the whole thing because he decided that he would headbutt one of the Usyk team yesterday, I think it was. And the ironic thing was that if you look now, the guy he headbutted hasn't got a mark on him. And it was the smallest guy in Usyk's team. He'd already been confronted by all of the big bears. He didn't do anything to them. And then one young, small guy got a little bit in his face and Fury dropped the nut on him, didn't he? But the Ukrainian guy's totally unmarked. And Fury had blood pouring down his head all into his silly white moustache. So that was a pyrrhic victory. So, Boaty, sounds like you didn't like Ali, says Jimmy Quinn. The most overrated boxer in boxing history. And as a human being, lousy man. Muhammad Ali was a lousy human being. Dreadful human being. He preached about respecting women and all that bollocks. What a load of crap. He was a dreadful womanizer. He left his wife in America, and when he went to fight, in the Rumble in the Jungle, he took his mistress with him. Oh God, just the biggest hypocrite and the total sociopath, and nowhere near as good a boxer as he thought he was. Frazier humbled him, and Larry Holmes was twice the man that Muhammad Ali ever was. Oh yeah, and Neil is picking up on the on the Big John Fury and the headbutt, and yeah, it was the smallest member of Usyk's team. Quite right now. Well, I'd rather have my lad boxing than carrying a knife. I know that much, says Barry Scrotter. Who was the boxer who named all of his kids the same? Asked Russ. It was George Foreman, Russ, says the M11. And Russ says, possibly Emma, but he did a fantastic grill. I used to get confused between George Foreman and George Formby. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. We'll do the boxing thing tomorrow night, darling. Oh. Diddly-doo, diddly-doo. Right, we'll do all of this tomorrow. I agree with quite a few comments here, but we'll do them all tomorrow. And on that note, I've caught up with the comments. So, it's 25 minutes past. I was going to have an early one tonight. Oh, that didn't work out, did it? Okay, darling. What did I say I was going to call this one? Oh, God, what was I going to call it? Damn it, I can't remember. It was something about, was it the open all hours things? It was something about Captain Mustard. Oh, Matron, what was I gonna call it? Captain Mustard. I can't remember. I had a really good title. I remember saying this will be a really good title if I remember it. And now I bloody don't. No, it's totally gone. Sack matron if she didn't make a note. Yeah, exactly. I can't remember. Oh, I'll come up with something else, some other nonsense while I get my curry on. Oh, the chocolate Labrador. Yeah, okay. Captain Mustard, chocolate Labrador, Northern. That'll do it. I'll make something out of that. Oh, I'll get something out of that. That is it, darlings. I want to get off and get my curry, and yeah, I've got stuff to do tomorrow, and I need to get up early. I need to set an alarm, and I need to be compos mentis reasonably early, and all of that sort of thing. So, thank you, Andrew. I'll screenshot that just in case I manage to forget it between now and. So that is it. Thank you so much for your company, darlings. It's been great fun tonight. And I wish you all a safe and peaceful night. Please do join me tomorrow night for Mad Thursday. Anything Goes Thursday. Same time, same place, 11 o'clock here on the old tube of you. And yeah, have a safe and peaceful night. Have the best day that you can tomorrow. Take joy anywhere that you can and take great care of yourselves, those you love, and those who love you. And all the love in the world from me. Hope to see you tomorrow night. We'll be talking about boxing, amongst other things. Well, it's Mad Thursday. Anything could happen. And on that note, good night. Thank you. Pachu. And of course, oh yeah, bosh.